Good morning, guys. I thought I'll just go over this morning what is CrossFit again. We've got quite a few new members that are coming in that need to be obviously educated on what CrossFit is, but more than that, I find that those of us that have been CrossFitting for some time, we tend to forget why we're doing all this, and we tend to forget what the reason is why we come in here every day and do what we do. So this is a little reminder about what the methodology of CrossFit is, just in a bit of a nice wrapped up, summarized version. So we're not going to go into hours of theory or anything, but just a little boxed up reminder of what is CrossFit. So to start with, we'll just quickly go over the 10 principles of fitness. So in the blue on the left hand side here, these are generally accepted as the 10 physical skills of fitness. So whether you talk to a CrossFitter or someone at a corporate gym, a personal trainer, a physiotherapist, whoever you want to talk to, these are kind of generally known as the 10 principles of fitness. So we've got cardiovascular endurance, strength, power, speed, flexibility, agility, stamina, coordination, accuracy, and balance. And what you'll find is when you go to most corporate gyms, you'll find people work on one of two things. People either throw their earphones in their ears and spend an hour on the cross trainer or the rower or the bike, or you'll see the boys get their singlets on and do their bicep curls in the mirror, or do some bench pressing. And often the other 8 skills are neglected quite a bit. And so our goal at CrossFit is to try and get you as well-rounded across all 10 of these skills. So yes, we want to see your cardiovascular capacity increase. Yes, we want to see you stronger, but we're also concerned about your flexibility, your balance, your accuracy, and all these other awesome skills that we can learn and can increase and improve on. So our goal is to get you as well-rounded in all of this, and we often have a saying in here that we specialize in not specializing. So we kind of get good at everything. We don't get you necessarily amazing at one thing, but we try and get you really, really well-rounded and really good at all these skills. And what we found is the best way to achieve this is through 3 things. The first one is gymnastics. Now we call it gymnastics, but it's really a bit of a bastardized version of gymnastics. If a gymnast walked in the door, they'll probably laugh at us. So we tend to use the word movement instead of gymnastics. So that's anything to do with your own body weight. That's a pull-up, a burpee, an air squat, a press-up, anything to do with your own body weight. The next one is weightlifting. So that's anything that involves an external object. So whether that's a barbell, a kettlebell, a medicine ball, anything that's going to add a bit of weight to the workout. And then finally, this is our fancy word for conditioning or for cardio, as metabolic conditioning, often referred to or shortened as Metcon. So when you see the word Metcon, what it means is conditioning, cardiovascular capacity. And that's things like rowing, running, skipping. So we find by combining these 3 ways of training, we get the best overall result as far as hitting these 10 components of fitness. Okay, combine those 3 things into a workout, you'll get a good mix of all these components of fitness. So down the bottom here in red, it's it's how CrossFit is often summed up. It's summed up as constantly varied, high intensity, functional movement. So what that means is constantly varied. It's often confused or mistaken for randomness. So it's not randomness. Constantly varied just means that when you come in here, you'll do something different. It doesn't mean that there's not thought placed into the programming. And I'm sure there's a lot of CrossFit gyms out there that just kind of pick and choose workouts from different websites. What we do at Anfit is we put a lot of time into programming a 12-week block. And so we ensure that within that 12 weeks you're hitting a range of different movements, a range of different muscle groups, and not overloading one area, for example. So it's constantly varied but not random. Randomness is a great way to test your fitness. So when you go to a competition, sure, throw a bunch of random things at athletes and see how they do. But in training, it's really important that the workouts and the programs are actually progressive and in a system that allows you to progress scientifically and not just kind of doing random stuff. So although it's varied, it's not random. It's high intensity, and this one's nice and simple. Intensity equals results. It's as simple as that. If you work hard, you get results. If you don't work hard, you don't get results. So our goal is absolutely to work at a high intensity. By saying that, we don't just throw you into the deep end of intensity straight away. This is kind of the pathway that we follow. We'll teach you technique. Okay, so we'll teach you all the movement patterns and how to move safely and efficiently. We then expect you to display the technique consistently over a period of time. And then finally, we'll throw intensity in there. So the end result is to add some more weight, to move a bit faster. But initially, it's all about getting the technique right and getting it right consistently, and then slowly adding the intensity appropriate to your level, of course. But end of the day, to get results, you have to work at a high intensity. And so that's why high intensity is one of the goals here. And then finally, we have functional movement. So this is a bit of a buzzword in the fitness industry. All it really means is it's functional. It's real life movement. So I always use the example of picking up my toddler at home. If I go home, I don't kind of bicep curl her off the ground. I use my whole body to pick her up. And so the movements that we teach you in the gym here, it's real life movements. It's movements that kind of relate to stuff that you might do in everyday life. So that kind of gives you a quick overview of what is CrossFit, and it just reminds you again of what we do and why you're doing what you're doing. So I hope that was helpful. If you have anyone